Well, yesterday was a fantastic day as far as an attempt to vaccinate as many citizens was concerned. The numbers were a record in India, but sadly there's been an inability to match up with those numbers of vaccination yesterday and what we are seeing today. And the fact of the matter is, if India doesn't vaccinate more than 90 lakh citizens each and every day, then we are not going to get to a situation where all adults will be vaccinated with 2 doses by the end of the year. Why do we say end of the year? Because that's what the government is targeting. Well, in an attempt to recognize hard and the brave work as well as positive actions during these terrible times by ordinary people in our country, there are several heroes who have risen to the challenge. The Bollywood star Richa Chadha is starting an all-new alternate page on Instagram. It's called the Kindri. It's being managed by her and her co-founder Richa Chadha, who is the designer and co-founder of the Kindri and also a community head at Fluid. I'd like to thank both of you, Richa and Richa, very much for being with us. Richa, let me come to you first. What is the essential message that you're going to try and put out on Kindri?
Well, it's called the Kindri, and the message that we want to give out essentially is that yes, these are apocalyptic times, and it's a really traumatic thing to look at the news and find, visuals of bodies floating in the Ganga, endless fires burning. Yes, all that is true, but at the same time, individuals coming together, the kindness of strangers is really something that we've also witnessed during this period, and we just like to highlight that. And this is a community-based, non-profit, social media, Instagram first initiative that we have started, where we want to build a safe space for people to have communication, conversations about things that they feel strongly about, and at the same time we want to celebrate these everyday heroes.
So what are some of the most inspirational stories that you have come across and which feature on Kindri?
Well, like I said the last time, it was a story I picked up of NDTV only about a new mother, Ronita Sharma Rekhi, donating her breast milk to children who had lost their mothers to COVID. And there was another story about, what I can see on your screen right now is Kushal Roy, a counselor from Kolkata who runs a free grief, counseling and mental health helpline. This Delhi cop. These are all stories we get from the news, but somehow they get lost in the cacophony of everyday news about politics, murder, death, rape. And these are everyday individuals who deserve to be as famous as Bollywood people. I know that for a fact when we donate even 5 kgs of grain somewhere, it makes news. But here are some individuals who are purely in a selfless way going ahead and helping their neighbors, strangers, and just being available whenever it is needed. And from exemplifying their good behavior, we hope to incentivize good behavior in society eventually.
Krishan, in certain cases, has it been difficult to find these examples because these are people who help and they don't seek publicity. They just do it, right? So therefore, was that a bit of a challenge? Finding a lot of people who are doing incredible stuff, but don't care two hoots about it being publicized.
Firstly, thank you so much for having us here. You are equally a part of the Kindly by helping us amplify these voices. In fact, a lot of stories like Richa just said are coming through your own channel as well. Our goal is to assimilate them in one place and help amplify them even more. And what we also see is that kindness is very intentional, as against the usual idea of random acts of kindness. And this is what is coming out more and more, the everyday grit in certain individuals. That can be so very inspiring should they all come together. And that's the idea of the Kindly. I think we are spoiled for choices, like Richa said. In a big country like ours, there are many, many, many such people. In fact, with each passing day, we are more and more confident of the kindness of not just the pandemic heroes, but also artists like musicians, poets, storytellers coming in and saying, oh, could we contribute in some way? In fact, writers and technologists are telling us, can we help content write for you or build a website for you, so on and so forth. So it's truly a community-led initiative, which is overwhelming us in a very beautiful way. So there is a lot of kindness. So it is honestly not so difficult as it might have felt earlier.
Yeah. Richa, something that you were talking about, that perhaps in the doom and gloom of COVID right now, there needs to be a space which exists which gives us hope. That isn't for a moment to take away from the seriousness of the situation we are in.
Yeah, absolutely. These stories don't shy away from the reality. In fact, they're often addressing very dark things like overcrowding at crematoriums, and how a Delhi cop postponed his own daughter's wedding in order to light the pyre for 50 such strangers who he didn't know, who had nobody to do their last rites. Or the fact that newborns were losing their mothers, like in the case of Ronita Sharma. So we can't hide the truth, that is not the idea, to sugarcoat things and say that this is not happening. But the fact that we can say that despite all of this, these are the good things that are occurring, so that a little bit of faith in humanity is also restored among people, because that's actually what we need right now, is hope. Is communities, it's people coming together and thinking of innovative ways in which they can help each other. Like the doctor couple from Bombay who realized that their building alone had several people who had unused COVID medicine, so they decided to collect it and distribute it among the poor, rural areas and tribal areas, and today they are running a full-fledged initiative called Meds for More, doing the same thing on a larger scale.
And just one final question to either of you. In fact, Krishnan, why don't you take this question? You're highlighting a couple of case examples. What would you like people to do to support these people who've gone out of their way?
So people could use both, either their heart or their brains. And I see compassion being an enabler to just sharing it further and helping it reach to more and more people, to inspire to the last mile, and using their brains and their skill sets to come to us and give us ideas and co-create this community with us. So we have an email ID called stories@thekindly.org, where we also invite people to share the kindly heroes around them, is what we call them. And if at all they think there are ideas that they have, and we have had certain sessions where we see people are really excited to join a cause like this, and they say social media, unfortunately, which was seeming like this narcissist place of just comparing with each other, actually can be dealt with very nicely once you have your intentions right. So yeah, most welcome to all of you watching right now through this channel to just write to us, DM us on Instagram at the Kindly's page, and we'll be more than happy to welcome you in our community and see how can we co-create magic together.
And a final question to you, Richa. What message would you like to give to those doing extraordinary things during the pandemic?
Well, I just want to say that these people who are doing, ordinary people doing extraordinary things, is what is the most inspiring outcome of this deadly pandemic, the worst that our country has seen. And it's because of them that a lot of people feel that faith in humanity is restored. They feel inspired. They feel themselves inspired to carry out other acts of kindness and to help people around them. And that is, I think, the only way in which we can survive these tough times. So thank you. Just want to express gratitude to those who have selflessly come forward to help others, to help strangers, and do it from in a spirit of service.
And thank you both for making this effort and highlighting something that we know about, but we never find a particular place to see the remarkable achievements of people who really try and help all of us. Thank you so much indeed.
We would love for you to join our Instagram session as well.
I'd be very happy to do that. I've been talking about this for one entire year, and if there's anything I can do to help, I'd be very, very happy indeed. Thank you both very much for being with us.
Thank you. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you.